Yeah, they did good. That team loves to shoot the three. They love to shoot the three, and they love to get to the rim. I think today they shot the three well. They shot a ton of them, and I think we were trying to control the paint. And so our focus was a little bit on how we defended them around the basket, and we didn't send them to the foul line when they did drive in there. I thought we were pretty good when it came to that part. We certainly were dominant inside. Again, knowing it wasn't exactly apples to apples because they were trying to play the perimeter game today. We shared the ball really well. I always say that when you have players, we have 4 of them in double digits. If you divide Vonnie and Lee's points, then you could get some more in double digits. But they just played really well, those two, and good overall team effort. And I think that they were hanging around. And so we needed to, at halftime, we talked about the possession game. We were only up a couple on the glass, or one maybe. We had turned the ball over way too much in the first half. And so we needed to work on the possession game a little bit more. And in the second half, we continued to turn them over, and we didn't turn it over ourselves. And we didn't win the glass big, but we did have an edge on them in the second half as far as that went. And so those were good things that our team was able to take and apply to the game situation.
I thought seeing you now 4 games, I thought you played really well in transition too. You got some good transition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think sometimes people think it's just Yvonne that can run. And, Eliza got... Is there any water anywhere on her face? Sorry. I'm going to drink this ready, or whatever the heck that is. Thank you. Yeah, it's not just Vonnie who can run in transition. Our Eliza, Mount got some of them today. Vaughn started it off well. But we got players who can run hard. Naya can run hard in transition, and certainly we have the people who can pass it to them. So today it was a little bit more of the interior presence on the transition. We maybe got a couple threes, but I thought that they set the tone of how we're going to transition offensively. We did. We didn't necessarily make our field goal percentage goals, but we had 9 block shots. We had 11 steals. And some of those blocks, turned into those steals. We got a lot of deflections, and I thought I did a better job at times. They have 4 lefties on their team, and I think they got to their left hand a little too much. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we gave up 55 points. So we contested the 3 better, even though they were still shooting them in the second half. And I thought the first quarter it was on track to be a high scoring game. And even though I think we can win shootouts with a lot of teams, it's not exactly how we like to play. So I'm glad that we buckled down in the second half a little bit better. Yeah, it was better. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the 3. That team shot twice the amount of threes that your last 2 opponents have. Does variety of styles of play help throughout non-conference?
Yeah, I think so. I think we want to play as many different styles as we can. We want to play big teams. We want to play fast teams. We want to play shooting teams. We want to play driving teams. It just helps us. It helps expose areas you need work in when you play teams of different. And really, we go against ourselves the most. And not everybody does things like we do. A lot of people don't. Honestly, we play with 2 forwards almost all the time. Sometimes Callie and Esther poke themselves into those positions, but not very often. And we don't see that very often at all. And so I think that definitely playing teams like this, and this was set up before she, it wasn't necessarily for style, but as styles develop, teams that run the Princeton offense, it's hard to guard, and you have to figure that out. It's different. No one else does it. Teams that press you, it shows you what areas you're going to be able to maneuver fairly easily and what areas you're going to need to work on, and I like that all the time. If we can do it in scheduling, then great. Usually we're scheduling for, dates and postseason play and that kind of thing, but when it works out like that, I like it.
Coach, you said you were trying to control the paint, but Kaylee also had 21 points, and she was not missing at all.
Mm-hmm.
How big was she tonight?
Yeah, she's been playing really well and really confident, which is good to see coming off of last year, just with that hiatus that she took. And we've known since we started this season that she was looking confident. I think at the end of last year when she came back, she was in a different role. It was hard to make an adjustment. But so far this season, she's actually in a different role because she's kind of our defensive stopper in the starting lineup. So she's getting the tough matchup. But she looks very comfortable, very confident. I think she looks like the Kaylee that we had at the beginning of last season and the years prior. And I think she's playing great basketball. I think she's shooting the ball as well as she has. So hopefully we can continue with that.
Just kind of building off that, it's back-to-back 20-point games from Kaylee and Yvonne. I guess kind of building off that is that something you think we'll keep seeing? And
Well, I think they're both playing great. Vonnie almost had a double-double last game also. She was close today. I mean, she did play 29 minutes, so I guess a few more minutes than she typically does. I think that the starting lineup has a lot of firepower. I think we can get 20. Eliza's probably done it the least, but we can get 18, 20, 25 out of those guys at any given day. And that means that just you have to be ready at all times, because when you have 2 consecutive games like that for Yvonne and Kaylee, they might get a little bit more defensive focus, and then that means Lynn and Brenna and Eliza and whoever else are going to have opportunities. But I think the beauty of our team is, okay, go ahead and take away Vonnie, try to take away Vonnie and Lee, and we have many other people out there who can score it. And that's where we've really shined, is when they want to focus in on one thing, then we'll go to something else. And if they want to focus on one player, then we have another option. And hopefully that'll continue to be a recipe for success for us.
You know about Wyoming?
I know that Wyoming's been running the same type of stuff for years. They've had 3 different coaches, and all have done a really good job. And they run splits and bunches, and they spread you out, and they can usually shoot it and get you up off your feet and then try to drive it at you. They traditionally like to take their time as far as the clock goes, and they want a low possession game. We want a high possession game. So it's always, every year, it's a little bit of a conflict of style, and I haven't watched them at all yet this season. So that's just the years past. I know I've looked at their scores, and I know who's on their roster, but it's going to be a grinder, like it always is against them. And we got ourselves in a big hole last year at their place, and had to really scrape and claw to get ourselves out of it. And hopefully we'll play well from the tip this Saturday. Yeah.
Time for one more?
Coach, I better just ask it. Naya had that one awesome block.
Yeah.
In the third quarter, and then she had another one towards the end there. Only played 9 minutes, but how is she?
She's doing good. I think we're running a style totally different than what she's run before, and so we're trying to make sure that we're positioning her to have success. She's a great shot blocker. Obviously, you can see how bouncy she is. We had her jump the tip in the overtime game the other day, not just because Vonnie was out, but because we thought she could win it. We think she could, and she actually didn't, because they had a 6'6" person on their side. So basically the only people that could win the tip against Naya. But she's so vertically gifted, and we've got to harness it in a little bit and make sure that we're using it for good, and that we can stay on our feet and know the timing. But she's doing a great job, and just like any freshman, because last year she didn't play any minutes. She redshirted. So just like every freshman that you have, you got to teach it. You got to simplify the game for them a little bit, and then expand it from there. And we're trying to get her to run hard, play defense, and rebound. She likes blocking shots, so maybe that should be included in it. But she's doing a good job for us. Yeah.
Everybody else that scores a lot of points.
Yeah, I felt good.
Yeah.
I was, like, my teammates were able to find me in transition, and they were not organized on transition defense, so we got a lot of points from that. So
In general, you guys beat a lot in transition. Were you looking for that typically?
today, yeah, I think, especially because we are a bit deeper now today, like this year, I mean, I think we can run. I think Lisa put the emphasis today on, like, go harder for longer, and when you're tired, we'll just sub you, but, like, give 100%. So I felt like that was something I really wanted to do today, just run the floor, keep running, keep going, and if I get the ball, I get the ball, and if I don't, then maybe I'll get my teammates open, so.
Long shots, long rebounds from a team that likes to throw it up from 3. What was that kind of like defending them, and how beneficial is a variety of opponent to play, that way stylistically this time of the year?
I think it's great for us to play different teams in non-conference and get different looks defensively. We can always keep working on our defense. So it was a challenge getting the 3-point, and I do think it's something we can work on and get better at. But it's a great learning opportunity for us. Yeah.
Liza, how nice is it knowing that you only score 6 points, but yet each of them scores 20? How nice is it knowing you guys can lock down the paint?
Yeah, it's really great to be on a team who has such great depth and offensive firepower. There's never really a worry of someone having an off night because someone else will pick it up. So it's really good for us to have that as a backup always, because we always, offensively we're great. Yeah.
kind of building off Noah's question there, back-to-back 20-point games for Kaylee and Yvonne. What's it just been like watching those two have this two-game stretch here?
I'm really happy for Lee. She was obviously injured last year, so it's nice for her to get her time to shine and prove what she's been working on and what she can do. So I'm really happy for her, and Vonnie is like, it's just a no-brainer for me. It's just any other day. Yeah.
We're just 4 games into the season, but how do you guys feel about how everything's gone? Obviously, we know you can score. You look at those points, but where do you feel like the team's at right now?
Do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, I think we're executing better on offense. I think the point of emphasis should be defense. Today we had trouble guarding the 3-point line, and I think we should be able to do both. We're going to play some good teams next week, and the week after we have Stanford, obviously. So I think focusing on that will be good. Yeah.
Wyoming played you guys close last year. Do you take anything from that one?
Not this year. It's not going to be close.
Well, we're not in the
Just
elevation,
kidding.
so that's really nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that helps us out a lot. I remember
Yeah.
dying. No, but I'm excited.
Yeah, and they're returning some good players. So it's definitely going to be a good game. It's not something to overlook, especially looking into next week, how dense that's going to be with 3 games back to back. So it's important to take that seriously as well.
And I would just add, like, it's really exciting playing really good opponents. Like, this is a time to get better, and we like being challenged. So when I see better opponents coming up in our schedule, I get really excited about that. So I'm really looking forward to it on Sunday, Saturday, whenever it is.
Yeah.
Saturday.